statistically, as far as the latest rankings are concerned. What a way to finish off the first weekend of the Players' Championship for the new year. Luke Humphries, the winner on day one, but day two will go to either the current world champion, Peter Wright, or the former world champion, Gerwyn Price. The stage is set
105
for what should be a thrilling finale. For me, Rob Malarkey, and the man alongside me, Paul Nicholson.
Thoroughly enjoyable to be back in Barnsley. And
140.
I hate to be presumptuous, but I'm really looking forward to Wigan already for next week. We haven't even had the final of PC2. This could be an amazing game.
43.
It should deliver with the two best players on the planet. And their last titles before the one that's about to be bestowed on them. Wright, of course, winning
100.
the Citadel Trophy at Alexandra Palace. And Price, the Eric Bristow Trophy at Wolverhampton. So he's looking to repeat what he did against Peter Wright
85.
in that final, in giving a bit of a tousling, because he really did own that final back in November.
Yeah, he certainly did. 16-8. They have also met on the final stage of the
48.
Players' Championship before as well. In fact, as recently as March of last year, when they met in the final of Players' Championship 8, Peter Wright winning that one by 8 legs to 3.
174.
And it was fairly one-sided as well when they met in the final of Players' Championship 13 in July of 2020. Wright winning that one by 8 legs to 2. Wright in position first, but the 113 is not going to go. Price is now looking at 94. Price has been dropping his darts over the course of the afternoon today, especially over the last 3 rounds. That leaves double 6
it really
by
does.
my calculations. Yeah. Look of confusion on the face of
88.
Paul Nicholson as that particular route mapped itself out.
I didn't expect him to go the bull route. I thought he'd go 54 for tops, or if he missed, he'd go for double-double. I think that was a change of tactic there from Gerwyn Price.
Game shot.
It didn't work, and Wright takes the first leg on the throw, but a lot of the chatter coming into today was the possibility of the world number 1 spot changing. Because of Gerwyn Price getting to the quarterfinals, that guaranteed that he would stay at the world number 1 spot. But here's the situation going into tomorrow.
60.
If Peter Wright wins this final, he will go into next weekend £5,500 behind Gerwyn Price. If Price wins,
81.
he's going to be 9,500 in front. And quite frankly, in about 6 days, it'll be as you were from yesterday.
Yeah.
The chase will remain.
140.
So we could have had a change of order at the top of the world ranking this weekend. It hasn't come to pass, and it might not come
57.
to pass for a few days to come, or maybe even, who knows, if Gerwyn Price keeps on winning or keeps on doing better than Peter Wright, then he'll stay at the top of the tree.
What we haven't had in a very,
95.
very, very long time is a joust for the world number 1 spot in a yo-yo fashion. So somebody's world number 1 1 week, and then a few weeks down
59.
the track somebody else is. Because when Van Gerwen was world number 1 for 7 years, previous to that Phil Taylor was world number 1 for an eternity. So we've only had 2 world number 1s
100.
pretty much this century, with the exception of maybe a couple like Peter Manley and Colin Lloyd. But it would be nice to have a little bit of yo-yo action at the top of the rankings for a little while.
Yes, subplots wherever you turn in this match, in this final. Wright's 106, so treble 18 to leave double 16.
58.
And this time he will go for the bullseye, certainly. 82, I suspect. No, he's going upstairs. No, he has gone for the bullseye. So that leaves 57, 17 for tops. It looked as though he was looking upstairs there for a moment. Anyway, he's now looking upstairs at double 20.
42.
And he's off target, and Wright can pounce here for a break of throw.
Well thrown shot, but he hasn't completed in 18 darts. That's where the fault lies. Has he got enough of this bed to aim at? I think he's going top end.
16.
I think they're both looking a little tired. You don't see these two not completing in 6 visits very often, especially today. But it's 20 darts is enough, and Price has got to not just book his ideas up when it comes to how many darts he completes a leg in, but I think that's a bad habit you can get into.
Yeah.
Chucking a dart into the board that you don't need.
97.
Is it actually against the rules as well to do that? I mean, he's clearly. I mean, I know the leg's being won, but he's walking up the oche and he's thrown it loose.
130.
It's not against the rules. I've seen other players like James Wade do it on the Premier League stage, and I've seen Phil Taylor do it as well. It's not necessarily against the rules. It's just
66.
not liked by certain officials. So it's something that you don't really want to do all the time.
Just an etiquette issue, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
140.
The leg's already completed. It's already been called, so you can't exactly bust your score by throwing another bullseye with your left hand or something like that.
59.
It's not a high-quality final so far, but there's plenty of time for it to ignite because it is first to 8, and these guys are looking for another title to add to their tally.
134.
Peter Wright's got 42 PDC titles, made up of 21 Players' Championship events, 6 European Tour events, and a few others. His first came in
59.
2012, so it's 9.5 years now that Peter Wright has been winning titles. His first in Ireland back in 2012. And Price
77.
continually shaking his head, but it is a better leg for him. He will be back.
Yeah, and just to embellish what you've just said as well, Gerwyn Price's first PDC title coming in May
85.
2016 when he beat Peter Wright 6-3 in the final. That was on the Pro Tour as well. Double
Game
10
shot.
here for a 2-1 lead for Gerwyn Price. That's the first break of throw as well that we've seen in this final so far as well. Price stealing a march.
Do you remember what Adrian Lewis said about Gerwyn Price's first 2 Pro Tour wins? He said it didn't really matter because not
140.
everybody turned up. Seems a bit silly now when you think about that. 2016, and he beat Peter Wright in the final, the 2-time world champion. Having said that, he
57.
wasn't world champion at the time, but within about 10 months he was the UK Open champion. It's amazing how you can
81.
extract information from a statement in hindsight 6 years on. It seems a bit silly now, but at the time there was a lot of debate about that.
He said about these two looking, or maybe looking a
121.
little bit tired, but Peter Wright has certainly had a lot more time on the floor so far today. Gerwyn Price, coming into this final, had only lost 9 legs
135.
in the build-up to this one. 6-0 against Rusty Jake Rodriguez, just the 1 leg drops against Ross Montgomery and against Stephen Burton. 7-0, of course, against Kirchmar in the semi-final. Whereas Peter Wright, 180 there for good measure. You know, he had a 6-5 against Alan Suter, 6-4 against Eddie Lovely and Lee Evans, and also Rob Cross as well. And that was a bit of a tussle. That could easily have gone to an 11th and deciding leg in the quarterfinals. That 145 checkout, one of the highlights of the day so far. Right, looking at 143, ain't going to go. Talking of big checkouts, by the way, Gerwyn Price has won his last 2 matches with a 170 checkout, both against Stephen Burton and against Kirchmar. In the final legs, I wonder if he'll do it again. That'd be some treble, some hat-trick.
Really doesn't like that first dart. Loves that one. That's a great pickup.
What a great recovery this would be.
61.
Treble 18 for double 18 after the wayward 7.
Wright's going single 11 here. Didn't even contemplate the single 3. He's more of a double 16 kind of guy, whereas Price is the other way.
27.
They're both missing vital shots here. Maybe not as vital as the shots we will see later in the match. But double 18's there for a 3-1 lead for the man that you eloquently put there, Rob, who has put 170 checkouts in to win his last 2 matches. Now, I'm sending out this to the Twitter sphere and all the people on Facebook and all of the other social media
91.
channels. I don't ever remember anybody hitting a 170 checkout to win 2 straight matches, ever. I've seen MVG hit
59.
multiple 170s in a match. I've seen other people do that before as well. But to finish 2 consecutive games,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember, but I'm going to hedge my bets by saying I wouldn't be surprised if somebody
100.
did unearth another example from somewhere in the dim and distant past.
I'm just giving some of these statisticians something to do. As if they haven't got
80.
enough to do today with what has been one of the most busy starting weekends in history. But let's face it, I don't think that that's been done in a PDC event before, but I would love to be wrong.
180.
Well, Peter Wright could certainly afford no slip-ups on throw in this leg. 2 180s now to bring him down to 130. Going Price looking to apply just a little bit of pressure, but he's only down to 225, so you would suspect that Wright will be able to finish this one off. 70 remaining now. So double eights.
114.
Price is not contemplating at
96.
all winning this leg. He doesn't think there's any way that Rice is going to miss this, and he doesn't. 3-2, but he has that break in the bank. Now it's time to get back to that 60 department. Now, I was asked about a week ago to predict
121.
who I thought would be in the top 4 of the Premier League come the end of the campaign. I stupidly had this notion after the Masters where Peter Wright was using some bulbous, short,
95.
small flight of darts. I thought maybe there'd be some confusion over the next few months. So what does he go and do in Cardiff? Goes absolutely bananas and
180.
picks up the first 5 points of the campaign. So egg on face for me 1 week into the campaign. But these two will, after this one, turn their attentions to Liverpool on Thursday.
60.
Yeah, what a productive, lucrative few weeks it has been for Peter Wright, of course. £500,000 for winning the World Championship, £12,000 in the offing here
100.
as well, £10,000 for winning that opening night of the Premier League in Cardiff as well. Smattering of prize money yesterday as well.
What would you do with £500,000, Rob?
132.
Gosh, I just don't think we've got the time to go through all the options that I would have to
I'd pay
assess.
my tax bill first. Get rid of that and understand how much of it was mine.
60.
That's a superb single. It's right in the corner. But he did the right thing staying away from the 60 there, get him in Price. He knows a thing or two about £500,000 checks. He won one last year.
Yep, he certainly did. Yeah, 6 titles for the pair of them in 2021.
140.
If you class Gerwyn Price's World Championship of 2021 on New Year's Day as a 2021 title.
20.
2 times a winner on the Pro Tour last year. Gerwyn Price. Peter Wright picking up 4 of these titles.
Oh, what a shot. He was given this chance by Gerwyn. He's got to gobble it up. Double 16. Got to pick the angle, Pete. Oh,
Game
it's
shot.
a perler. Just bypasses that other dart, and it's 3-3. This one could be going long, but you have to say it. Look at Price in the background. That tells the story. He did everything right in that leg, but when it came to his last visit, he stumbled, and he offered
92.
Wright that freebie.
Yeah, just the way he just pitched it over the apex of the flight of the dart that was blocking his way through.
180.
Gerwyn Price still consistently inconsistent at finding the 180s. He's steadily producing them. He sometimes hasn't produced them at the key moments
100.
today, but he is keeping that counter going.
I love watching Gerwyn Price, do you know that? You don't get a great deal of emotion from Peter Wright until
43.
a final dart is plugged. But during a game, you get value from Price. He's pretty much the world eye-rolling champion in this one so far. But it's 3-3, and we're down to best of 9.
Of course, these two could come together again in the Premier League in Liverpool on Thursday, which is the next port of call
100.
for the players at the higher echelons of the game. And of course, we're back in the Pro Tour mode next weekend in Wigan as well, and we've got European Tour qualifiers to look forward to.
100.
What's your opinion on this new hair colour of Gerwyn Price? It's a
I
bit
like it.
rascal, isn't it?
I like it.
You like it?
I must confess, I did go down
98.
a few years ago before I knew you, Paul. I did go down a similar road, so I've got to take my hat off to go, and I'm a big fan of that.
I didn't think you'd do anything like that. What's Wright going to do with a 110?
Can you imagine that?
I can imagine Wright doing something like that. I imagined
Game
him hitting
shot.
that as well. We always say the good sign for a checker like that is how good the single is. The single, boy oh boy, was it right in the middle of the 18. And he takes the lead.
85.
Yeah, 3 legs without reply for Peter Wright. He has a little bit of momentum to work with now. Whether he can continue to build on this, only time will tell. Just the 85 to start things off, though,
84.
for Gerwyn Price. And 85 plays 84. plumb in the middle of that treble 20 bet. Another treble 20 maybe in the offing here. Yeah, right in that gap. Third 180 for Gerwin Price.
This year is, for these guys, an opportunity to embellish on what their
58.
CV has already. And with Peter, there are certain things that he wants to win that he's never won. Because, let's face it, the clock is ticking a little bit quicker for Peter Wright than it is for Gerwin Price. Because he's a lot younger. But there are things that Peter's never won, like the Premier League. He hasn't won the Grand Prix. Think about Price. He wants to win the Premier League
95.
as well. He wants to win the match play. He's not won there. So there are certain things on the whiteboard at home that they've got a little asterisk
56.
next to. But the first thing they're going for this year, post some Pro Tour events, is the UK Open. And, of course, that's where they met in a major final for the very first time.
Yep, Wright's winning that one 11-6 in 2017. 4 apiece. Price has just stopped the rot, if you like, having lost the 3 previous legs. 1 break apiece so far. The first break by Gerwin Price in the third leg of the match. Peter Wright levelling things up with a break of his own in
100.
leg 6. But here we are in leg 9 now. 4 legs apiece on the scoreboard. First to 8, as you can see there, best of 15.
105.
Yeah, there's been a lot made of levelling up this week in the news, but nobody's going to be levelling up in the rankings. But these are early gesticulations when it comes to the Pro Tour Order of Merit for 2022.
140.
The seedings for the Players' Championship finals come November will be because of all of these events throughout the course of 2022. So
100.
some people have had really good starts this weekend, the likes of Krutschmer, Damon Heta, these two. Luke Humphries has had a phenomenal start. But Ryan Searle with the final yesterday, he's got only the
91.
tiniest bit of improvement to make to get another title. But I hope you've enjoyed this weekend on PDC TV, because I know I have. I'm going to enjoy this if it goes in. It's a 180. It could change this leg.
Yeah, potentially a pivotal moment, because it's maybe another break of throw in the offing as well for Gerwin Price. And the breaks of throw at this stage of the match will be almost twice as valuable as they are earlier on. But here Gerwin Price might just be haunting the
145.
darts of Peter Wright.
That may have been the tiniest bit of karma, because he's already eliminated 2 people over the 170. To have one hit against him, you'd have to say, well, fair enough. But what a save that is! Wow! Here's me thinking Peter Wright's going to get another look, and look at the pain on Peter's face. That was some save from the premier player in the rankings.
Well, he has produced some big checkouts
100.
in terms of the actual scale of the numbers so far today, those 2 170s. But you could argue that was perhaps even more valuable the way he was able to take that out at a critical juncture of the final as well.
60.
2 breaks to 1 now. 5-4. Price leads. Big moment that.
And he's used his get out of jail free card as well, because on a 116 checkout,
66.
there are pitfalls left and right. 7 doesn't leave you a finish on 109. 3 does not on 113. But good old treble 3, getting you out of jail, giving you 107.
125.
And he takes it out. He might be thinking about that checkout if he wins this title.
80.
I think it's good that we don't really question, like in tennis,
180.
where I'm just going to divert it for a second. How did he get those 3 together like that in the bottom right corner?
Absolutely astonishing from Peter Wright.
85.
Brilliant stuff. 136. Great chance for a break back. Look what Price is on though. 170. No stranger to that finish today by any stretch. 76 remaining, another one of those. Double 8 here then for Peter Wright to level things up for a second break.
120.
Can't find a way through, but he'll be hopeful of returning. But given the way Price has taken these out so far today, it ain't going to happen for a third time.
This one's boiling up lovely.
60.
Double 8 for a break of throw. Just when Price thinks he's getting his nose in front at the right time. One of the best players in the world from the right-hand side of the hockey is Peter Wright.
Game shot.
That's why. From Stephen Bunting country, he does find the 10th leg. 3 more legs to win this one. It's as you were.
And it's effectively a best-of-5 encounter now. And it's Peter Wright with the darts throwing first in this
45.
in this final, and he's only posted 45 as well. He slumps his shoulders as he goes to retrieve his darts, but can Gerwyn Price make him pay? Well, so far not,
97.
but he's recovered well. Effective switching down to the 19s just to steal a march on his rival in this one. He can't really afford another treble-less visit here, Peter Wright, but he may well have to suffer one.
93.
That could make a little bit of difference as well.
That was the stat of the worlds, wasn't it? Treble-less visits. Everybody was talking about those.
Yeah.
121.
Anything but treble-less there, but he does have an advantage of 80, which in this kind of company isn't a great deal. Proves to be enough, though.
60.
A treble-less visit does visit the door of Peter Wright.
Loads of room either side there.
99.
I'm not so sure about this, and I'm going to send out something else to the Twitter sphere. I don't think we've had, I don't say this confidently, I might add, I don't think we've had two players on over 1.2 million on the order of merit.
No.
We may have had with Phil and MVG, or maybe Peter and MVG, something like that.
You've only got a certain time scale to work with there, haven't you? Given
Absolutely.
The prize money.
And if Peter Wright wins this game, that will be the case. But 170? Question mark. Gone.
Questions answered, yep. It would be ironic, I suppose, wouldn't it, as well, if
44.
if we went down to a deciding leg and Peter Wright nicked it with a 170 checkout as well. Price looking at 96, he's looking at 91, so he's looking at treble 17, and he's looking no more.
40.
Everybody loves a 126. 619s for double six. Or 4 for the bull. 2 doesn't get you anywhere, and Price is looking to break back again.
Well, we had 2 breaks in the first 8 legs of this final.
98.
And we may have 3 on the spin now, because Gerwyn Price is looking at 56 for a 6-5 lead. Will it be a 6-5 special here for Gerwyn Price? Tops he wants, 2 darts in his hand. The first one is just above the wire, and the second one is even
16.
further away, and Peter Wright's a huge let-off, and you can just see the frustration and the annoyance given the reaction. Double 14 inside for double 7, has to be on target, can't afford to miss
Game shot.
inside, and Peter Wright stays true and is back in front at 6-5.
Second time in this match he's had a 20 dart leg, and Price knows that he's letting Wright off here.
140.
The frustration is palpable and visible. He stops himself from doing a Lloydie and punching the board at the end of the last leg. And that left hand of his is feeling pretty sore right now. It's feeling a bit like Riddick Bowe's crotch against Andrew Gallotta.
Well, he kicked off with a ton 40.
139. $100.
That's a great first start. That's exactly what he wants, to take the pain away.
121.
But there's been a few loose ones in this final. Sometimes we do see some great darts in the first few Players' Championships, but we do see the odd rusty shot. Needs another I feel. And he gets another
180.
over the top.
What pressure that was from Peter Wright. Gerwyn Price, 82 away. He's going to do it again, you know. Bullseye for double 16.
69.
Well, I thought it was written in the stars that he was going to take that out. Peter Wright now for a chance for another break, and what a timely break it would be. 1-2-1 is the target. Treble 17 for Bullseye is the only way to go here. He's got the treble 17. Bull finish for Peter Wright for a 7-5 lead.
Game
and he's
shot.
taking it out in style, and that is an absolute sickener for Gerwyn Price, who just shakes his head in disbelief at the back of the stage, at the back of the oche. A wry smile from the world number 1 against the world champion, but Peter Wright, a firm favourite now, leading 7-5 with 1 more required.
81.
We're going to see plenty of these battles over the course of the season, but that really was the perfect way to put it, Rob. That was a sickening blow.
23.
Only 23 to start this leg, and Wright has hurt the world number 1 with that 1-2-1. Not as much as the 1-2-1 he hit to
140.
beat Benito van der Pas in Saarbrücken one year, which was one of the most sickening blows I've ever seen in darts. But right now, with no
60.
troubles in the first 6, Price is on the ropes.
Well, Wright was 3-1 down. He led 4-3. He trailed 5-4, but he's responded with the last 3 legs to lead by 7 legs to 5, and he's got the ascendancy here as well.
100.
100 trimmed off there to leave 180. Price with work to do on 418. Has to go for the 180 here. Has to get the 180.
180.
And he keeps himself alive. 238. 5 180s of the match so far. May count for little in the final reckoning.
If Wright does win this by leaving tops and taking it, it will be his 22nd Players' Championship win and his first in 2022.
96.
That number, 22, is right in front of you, Peter.
Tops for the Magic 22, inside for double 10. 4 times a winner on the Pro Tour last year, and it hasn't taken long for Peter Wright to win his first Pro Tour title of 2022. Luke Humphries the champion yesterday, but Peter Wright dominant throughout the course of day 2 here. Gerwyn Price, the world number 1, beaten by 8 legs to 5 in what was a gripping final. Peter Wright coming out on top with an average of 95.36. What a way to round off what has been a terrific weekend here in Barnsley.
Yeah, splendid indeed. I don't think Gerwyn Price was expecting to be losing that final with a 95 average, and it just goes to show that there were misses in this final from Price. Too many legs we did see from him, where he delivered over 6 visits and didn't get the job done. Early on, Price was hitting shots. You can see that Peter Wright was in the background waiting for the Iceman to really hit his straps. But ultimately, it was Peter Wright who took all of the chances.
Yep, and we're going to hear from him now with Dan Dawson.
Peter Snakebite Wright, the world number 2, has just beaten the world number 1 to pick up the second Players' Championship event of the year. Peter, is it fair to say you were probably playing better yesterday than you were today?
Yeah, yesterday was seemed a lot easier. Today I was stuck in that corner board over there, and obviously there's draft that's coming down straight all the way down that way, and coming over. I just struggled. All the darts was going in at stupid angles, so I had to switch in the last 16 when it's 3 apiece on the ball 16 to my old darts, because the other ones were just winding me up how the angle that were going in.
You should have got the big fat ones from the Masters.
I didn't bring them.
You didn't bring them? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, you could have become world number 1 today. You did your bit, you won.
Okay.
Gezi, by reaching the quarterfinals, meant sure he clung on to it, but there is so little between you. It looks like it's bound to happen at some point over the next few weeks.
I won't think until at least March anyway. But obviously, if I thought, if I knuckle down to win tournaments, and I'll get there sooner. But yesterday, I felt great. Beginning of the day, I thought I was going to win, but you can't do that. Yesterday against Ryan Sale, I had two silly shots like on the trot, 60 and 57. You can't do that against a quality player like Ryan. So.
It is genuinely, that's what makes winning these even more remarkable, because it is genuinely, when you're up against players like Ryan or Gerwyn or Damon Heta or whoever, 2 bad visits, 2 silly mistakes, even 1 mistake could be the difference between you going home and you going on and winning the tournament.
Exactly. Well, I could have been out yesterday. Jeff Smith had 3 darts at 40, but none of them went nowhere near. Obviously, he was like poo the pants. Jeff's a fantastic player as well, but normally he'd hit that.
Look, how happy are you with the way you've started the year? It was the perfect start at the Premier League, wasn't it? Obviously, you're the world champion, and now you've picked up your first Pro Tour weekend in the very first Pro Tour title in the very first weekend. Yeah,
it just confuses me to which darts I use on Thursday night now. The black ones or the gold ones? I don't know.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I got MVG, so I'll have to sort it out next couple of days.
With the new format of the Premier League, Wright versus Price, we could see that, without joking, we could see that 15 times this year, couldn't we? We could see Wright versus Clayton 15 times across various tournaments. How important is it to get some wins in early, if you know you're going to be playing these guys a lot, because I think it's 4 times in a row you've beaten Gezi in Pro Tour finals. I know he won the Grand Slam last year.
Yeah. Or I don't think about it because every day's different. Everyone improves. So my target is to try and improve every time. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. So.
Doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you what, let's put it this way. What you have done, you've just won your 22nd Players' Championship title. You've won your 43rd, if my numbers are correct, PDC title.
Really? Oh my God.
50's within reach this year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Easy. I'll pass that. No problem.
Do you think you've got your best year in you in PDC darts?
Yeah, definitely, because I've just got this more mental focus that I'm up for it. And but I wanted to use the black ones, but it didn't quite work today. So it's
that mental focus. And I'll just final one. Is that the Taylor mindset that you mentioned the other day? That thing about, okay, I've won the biggest title. Now I have to go and show everybody why I've won it and keep on winning.
Exactly. Yeah. Just unfortunately, Phil was on the World Seniors thing, and obviously the lack of competition practice showed that Phil, if he maybe had been playing, online leagues and stuff like that, get himself sharper, I think Robert Thornton, to be honest, is going to go and win it because he's been playing well. And that, so
doesn't
we
matter,
don't know.
Peter. Doesn't matter. There's World Seniors for players over 50. This man is 51, and he is just
52 in March.
52 in March. He is the world champion. He won the opening night of the Premier League, and he also has his 43rd PDC title under his belt, having won Players Championship 2 today. We are back next weekend in Wigan, Players Championship 3 and 4. Before that, on Thursday night, it is the Premier League from
Liverpool.
There we go. I was just testing you. I knew that. Do you know who you're playing?
Michael Van
Gerwen. There we go. And Michael Van Gerwen may have his work cut out because he is closing in on the world #1 spot, and it might happen in the next week or so. Right on, mate.